Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. 4 topics for this video. 1. The Russians advanced on New York. Second one, the Ukrainians claim that the Russians did not destroy 2 Patriot systems but some decoys. But somehow the Russians were very accurate this time. The Russians are never accurate with their missiles when they are to attack, I don't know, some post of command or some. No. When they hit decoys, they're always accurate. That's why I think it's a lie, and I think indeed the Russians hit them. I have 2 articles, one coming from the Ukrainians, the other one coming from the Russians, with some pictures, which I think one is fake and the other one is not. Iran destroyer sinks. I will show you how. And the last article that I have here, ready for you. This is the reason why, one of the reasons why, the F-16s probably will never be deployed to Ukraine. If they will be fighting somewhere or flying over Ukraine, I doubt they will fly in the war zone. Probably they will be flying around Ukraine and these guys are going to take pictures, videotape them and so on, but not in the war zone. And if they do, I don't think they will be piloted by Ukrainian pilots, not because they can't, but because of this article that I'm going to use to build my case. So let's start with the first article. The first article comes from The Telegraph. Russian forces advance on town named after New York. That's in Donetsk Oblast, and it was usually when I was mentioned in Donetsk, New York, it was New York, Polizia and others. So the Russians are advancing and they're in the city. Let me read this article. And unfortunately, this guy that is portrayed here in a picture of this article, this is the guy, these are the people who, in my opinion, are fooled by other people with ties and suits living a good life thousands of miles away from the war, but inside and want the war to continue. This is the guy. I feel so sorry. Right, this. That's the guy. That's the guy, one of them. He has family. He has children, probably. But these are the people used by the big interests in war. If that guy would really fight for his nation, for his tribe, for his country, for his family, yes. But I don't think he's just, ordered to do that and he's going to do it. And I hate this. Russian forces have advanced into the southwestern suburbs of New York, a town in Donetsk region of Ukraine. Ukrainian and Russian sources, both of them, said that Moscow's forces have taken up positions on Petrovsky Street, which is roughly half a mile from the center of the town. Ukraine's general staff confirmed that fighting had taken place within New York, also known as New York, in its mid-afternoon situation report. Well, there's gonna go another one bites the dust, right? Now we have Insider, and Insider, I made a video 2 days ago, I think, or yesterday, I can't remember. All right, and the article that I featured was from the Western media, and they claim, I think it was Reuters, but claimed that hey, the Ukrainians said that hey, the Russians, they just destroyed 2 decoys, and they were not 2 Patriot systems. I have here some pictures, and I will tell you kind of why I think the Russians are, or I'm more inclined to think that the Russians are right in saying that. Consistency. And I've been reading the Ukrainian media, Russian media, the so-called Western media, the Chinese media, whatever information I get from as many angles, and the Ukrainian or the side of Ukraine has let's say a trust rate of about, or consistency in telling the truth rate of about 10%. That's direct experience and observation. You don't think you want me to do a study on that? And even if I do it, you'll say, oh, you picked and choose. That's why I don't give up. And the Russian media, I think, has a consistency of telling the truth or accurately portraying the reality about 90%. I know. But what can you do? That's my direct experience. Maybe you have a different experience. Great. Maybe we can exchange cards here. Ukraine says it fooled Russia into striking fake planes, air defense systems with Iskander-M ballistic missiles. I have a picture that is kind of like fake, just observation. I'm going to show it to you. That's one. And the other one, what makes me, again, how should I put it, inclined, I get convinced, let's say not, but more inclined to think that the Russians are telling the truth, is that whenever the Russians are hitting something wrong, their missiles are very precise. When the Russians are claiming they hit something right, the other ones say, no, they're not good weapons. They just shot here and there. That's one of the reasons. Let me show you this picture the Ukrainians provided, and I wanted to focus on a kind of like a square with they portray that kind of thing here. It's not very clear, but obviously. You see here, I'm going to do like an old days with books. All right. You see over here, all that is like it's added to the whole picture. Now, I understand this is not clear, but it's like lines are going like this. You can say, well, everything goes. No, it's just, you can see where that ends right there. Now you can say, well, that's maybe the vibration from the sound, from the noise, and maybe debris jumping around. So this is what they say. Ukraine says the Russian forces were fooled into striking dummy models of military targets. Okay, but when they tell you that they destroy a real plane or something like this, no, just faulty, or no, the Russians are just so bad. But when the Russians are hitting civilians, always they are accurate. Did you see that? When they hit civilian targets, they're always strike on a kindergarten, they strike on a hospital, they strike on this and that. But when it's about military targets, they're like idiots. All right? I mean, if you can choose to believe that, but I don't. Iran, and I'm going to show you, let me show you actually the Russian article and a picture. It says, watch Russian troops blow up 2 Patriot missile systems in Odessa region. And they're going to show us the picture, and it's up to you to figure things out. This could be maybe, because I'm not an expert, but rather this is what the Russians provide. And you make up your mind. You say, okay, I think this looks more accurate, maybe not, maybe are Russian decoys in Russia that the Russian blew up to show the baboons, hey, look at us, we blew up 2 Patriot systems. Possible, probable, I don't know, 50% I would say. So they say Russian troops continue to strike, let me see, this is from 15 hours ago. Russian troops continue to strike Ukrainian military equipment with high-precision weaponry to ensure the safety of its territory. The Iskander-M operational and tactical missile complex tracked the position of Ukrainian battery of the Patriot anti-aircraft missile complex near a settlement Yuzhoye in the Odessa region. The strike destroyed 2 Patriot launchers, not missiles, and Giraffe radar station, end quote, the ministry specified. Now it's up to you to believe or not. I am a believer. Associated Press. Iran naval destroyer has sunk, state media says. How? These guys are so never built or never repaired a destroyer, and it just capsized. Now, Iranian naval destroyer has sunk while it was being repaired in a port near the Strait of Hormuz, state media reported Sunday. State-run IRNA news agency reported that the Shahand destroyer being repaired at the wharf lost its balance due to water infiltration into the tanks and then bellied up. The agency added that due to the low depth of the water, it is possible to bring back the destroyer to balance. Well, it was built in 2018, so that's a new one. So that's good, I guess, for some forces who might be celebrating. And now, one of the reasons why these guys, as I said, probably, I suspect they're not the Ukrainian crews operating HIMARS. I don't think they're Ukrainian troops operating Patriot systems. I don't think they operate Abrams tanks or how do you call it, Marder. Maybe Marder is easier, but Leopard 2 tanks. The more advanced the weapons delivered to Ukraine, I don't think the Americans or these guys allowed the Ukrainians to use them for this reason. I'm going to show you one of them. Reuters. Russia says it foils Ukraine bid to hijack strategic bomber. Why? Remember, it was supposedly it was that pilot, the Russian pilot, who landed a helicopter in Ukraine with some other crew members that were mowed down by the Ukrainians when they tried to run. When the hell they tried to run? In a field? Send a dog and the dog will bring them back. All right? But no, they mowed them down. They were trying to run. Remember, that helicopter was in Ukraine. So where the other crew members that were not part of the hijacking were running? To Vladivostok? And the Ukrainians said, pom, 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 pom. Why? Send a motorcycle. Send a little, a little car. You're going to catch the idiots. But no, they mowed them. And what happened with that pilot? I will tell you. He was undercover and he was sent to Spain. And what did the Russians do? They found him. And what happened? He was killed. Now, these guys wanted to provide this pilot, supposedly, Italian citizenship. They will find him and then they will. All right, because that's treason. And not only. Deserters are having a hard time. Russian Federal Security Service, FSB, blocked an attempt by Ukraine to organize the hijacking of a Russian Tu-22 M3 strategic bomber and fly it to Ukraine, the FSB said on Monday. I'm going to show you the picture of the great, fantastic plane. And I'm quoting, Ukrainian intelligence intended to recruit a Russian military pilot for a monetary reward and a provision of Italian citizenship. So instead of Spanish, Italian. That's even closer. All right, to persuade him to fly and land a missile carrier in Ukraine, end quote. The FSB, the main successor to the Soviet era, KGB. Ooh la la, they are bad people. But hey, CIA, Mossad, MI6. All right, Reuters could not independently verify the details. Well, you gotta trust them. What are they gonna do? Anyway, if you don't trust them, well, do whatever you want. So we have here the airplane. Let me show you the airplane. Beautiful bomber, strategic bomber. This is it. The Ukrainians don't have it. Remember when I used the example to tell you why these guys will not probably send F-16s and as I said before, it's because of that event in 1980s when that Soviet pilot landed, if I remember, a MiG-31 in Japan, in Far East. They flew it from Vladivostok area and landed in Japan. And the Americans were cold. I mean, they were over there already. My bad. And they looked into it and they were all good. And then they sent it back to the Soviets and say, thank you very much, we got it. So that's one of the reasons. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.